Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have with us Paul McNiel. Paul grew up in the deep woods of Quebec, moved to the States in middle school, and started day trading over dial-up in high school. Dial-up, there's a throwback. Blowing his profits on travel to the South Pacific. With a bit of cash and from an army stint in Afghanistan, he started buying foreclosures and ended up tangled in complicated trailer park deals with hundreds of thousands of credit card debt. Having finally turned the corner, he lives on a modest six-figure passive income in a trailer park on the Yellowstone River and travels with his pet goat. I am super excited to have Paul here today. Paul is the very first person that I actually got in contact with because I reached out to him because he owned a park. And I was like, Paul, let me buy your park. And so here he is. Paul, thank you very much for hopping on the show today.
It's good to be here, Gabe. And sorry I won't sell you that park, but even better, we get to, talk.
There you go. There you go.
And, there's a lot of parks out there.
All right, man. Your story sounds awesome. We always start with stories. So why don't you take me back to the beginning? How did you get into real estate in the first place?
I guess it'd have to be, so I grew up, my dad is a linguist and an academic and an artist and not at all an investor, but both of my granddads were investors. And they kind of influenced me when I was very young, maybe 8, 9, 10. They got me thinking about it. And one of the things my granddad he encouraged me, my mom's dad, who's still alive and still maintaining rentals at in his mid 90s, a legend in his own way. He got me reading the, which I don't even know if they have anymore, classified ads. He said, just read the classified ads, just read them. And really that kind of set me going. So I'd read houses for rent. And then as I got older and started doing the math, I was like, well, this is what these kind of houses are. And you get a feel, just a taste for what different things would rent for in different neighborhoods or whatever. And then you'd see houses for sale. And then, sometime around 12, you figure out amortization. And you're like, well, this is renting out for $700 a month here. And my payment would be bada bing, bada bang. Hey, I could clear, But of course, I didn't have much capital when I was 12, 13, 14.
Understandably so.
So it wasn't until, so I did get into day trading because I borrowed a couple grand and did some day trading, some metals trading, did really well. It was the late 90s. A lot of people did well. But it wasn't until I had some actual cash that I was able to start buying stuff up. I had done a little stint, like I mentioned, in Afghanistan, had about $40,000 saved up. And I bought one little lot, a 2-acre lot in the middle of nowhere with an old decrepit trailer on it. And I started tearing that trailer down. And I had grand ideas. I was going to put 5 trailers on it. I had no clue, but I had a lot of energy, and the county shot down my 5 trailer plan. So I started looking for double wides to put on it. And I bought a double wide in a park. And then somebody was knocking on my door. They wanted to rent that one. So I left it there in the park and I bought another one. And so that was kind of how I got in. I didn't really want to get into trailers. I was looking at building a house on that, and I thought, oh, it's a lot cheaper just to put a nice double wide on it. So then, that was right around the crash, 9, 10, 11. So there was a lot of foreclosures available. And of course, looking back, it's easy to, I could have made, piles of money if I had done things differently. But, regrets, easy cancer. And, everybody's got that deal they missed or whatever. Yeah, and I've got hundreds of them. But anyway, so yeah, I got into a trailer here, a trailer there, a little stick built here. And then I started doing the math. And my granddad had mentioned years before, like, oh, you should look at trailer parks. And I was like, they're not really sexy. And my family had lived in a small single wide when I was a kid, when we just got to the States. But anyway, I started doing the math, and trailers just always did better than houses. And then trailer parks, man, that's the ticket. But I didn't have that kind of money. And at this point, I had been out of the Army for 2 years, so I didn't have any real income to speak of. And the banks were skittish. So I didn't have any access to cash, except I had friends and family who knew my character. And a lot of people lent me money, and I just offered 1% per month. Any of my investors, roughly 12% per year, like 12.68 compound it. And then those bright, shiny credit card offers, 0% offers started coming in. And I was like, 0%. So I started racking those up. But anyway, I got into this trailer park deal. It was like a lease option arrangement, kind of a complicated, low money down. I got into it with 12 grand, and it was for a 78 lot trailer park that had like 20 boarded up homes in it. Just a rough park.
12,000 you got into it, and it was 78 lots?
Yeah, it was. I had an option to buy at 850. And we wheeled and dealed, and I pretended like I was a big roller. At that point, I was already out of cash, and I probably got the 12 grand off a credit card. And I finally sold that park a year and a half ago for $2 million. Nice. But it was rough. It was rough. About, I thought I was smart, which, I was pretty clever, but I ignored a lot of good advice. And I found I was living in that park. And like you mentioned, I was pumping money in that park, trying to fix up the homes, trying to fix up the park, and running red every month, going deeper and deeper into debt, borrowing money from any possible source I could. Because I knew that things would pan out. I knew where things were going. If I could fill that park up and get them rocking, I knew it would do well. But I just about lost it. I mean, I pretty much had a nervous breakdown when I realized, I was just going backwards. And yeah, I discovered not only is there personal credit card debt, but there's this whole world of corporate credit cards. And they don't show on your credit report. So you can there's ways, very legal, but, dangerous, of just racking up, So I think I maxed out at like, I don't know, $600,000 or $700,000 in credit card debt.
Wow.
And you can imagine that's a little stressful.
A little bit, especially with the interest rates on those credit cards.
Yeah, so I was able to roll them around and generally keep them at zero, but that got harder and harder, obviously. And yeah, from time to time, I'd have them at 30% or whatever. So stressful, but finally turned the corner, sold the park, got into some other deals, partnered up on some parks. And now I'm doing great. No credit card debt, got a half dozen parks, and living the good life. But it took a lot longer. When I first got into it, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a year and a half, and I'm just going to be this like real estate. And my goals were modest. I thought, well, I'll make because I don't spend much money. I live pretty modestly. I was like, I'll make like 30,000 passive income, and then I'm out. And it took about 10 years, 10, 11 years to turn the corner.
Wow, man. So that is a crazy story. And I like that there were ups and downs, specifically because I feel like everybody in real estate, they always have that story. They're like, they were going good and then shit hit the fan and then it was good again. And then finally they broke through and kind of saw that, realized the vision that they were going for. And that,
and hearing other people's stories encouraged me.
Yeah.
I read that great bio, Made in America, of Sam Walton, not, real estate related, but there was a little note in there about how his daughter heard how much debt they had. It was like millions of dollars in debt, and she was crying and scared. And if anybody in my family or any of my investors or anybody had really known, had seen my books, what they were, they would have been shocked and scared out of their mind. But I had a vision, and I had faith that it would come together, and it did.
Yeah, and that is really what you need, is that belief, that undying belief that what you see in the future will happen if you just keep going forward and you don't give up. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did. So that first deal, 78 lots, you got in it for 12,000. And then over the course, how long did it take you to rack up that 600,000 in debt and then finally sell it? Like, what was the turnaround point there?
Well, yeah, I mean, the credit, that was probably like the first 5 years of running that park. Most of it was maybe the first 3 years. I didn't know what I was doing. And I made up for everything with the enormous amount of energy and a little bit of smarts. But, I was just, it can be very deceptive. You have all this cash coming in. You think, how could I possibly spend? I'd have pretty quickly I had like $18,000, $19,000, $20,000 rent roll. And my payment on that park was only $8,500. You think, how could I blow through this cash? Well, let me tell you, you can. You can blow through it really easily. And so it didn't even, it stabilized after about 5 years. And then by then I was buying other parks, and I'd partnered up with a buddy, and that helped. I had a high school buddy who had very complimentary skill set. I knew trailers. I know trailers better than anybody I know. I can see a trailer from, a quarter mile away and tell you, when it was built and what kind of plumbing it has and whatever. Far more than I would ever want to know about trailers. This, by the way, which you see behind you, is a 1974 16 wide. Out west, they had 16 wides way earlier. Out east, 16 wides came around in the mid 2000s. Huh. I don't know if it's wider roads or different legal stuff. But yeah, I partnered up with a guy who was a real detail guy, real systems guy. And real penny pincher, him and his wife, real tight. I round things the nearest like $5,000, like, well, whatever, pocket full of cash, just. And he was a details guy. So the parks we got together were run a lot better. They made the most of the knowledge I had learned with his discipline and systems. And yeah, so partnerships, a lot of people are leery of partnerships, but that one has been by and large a huge success.
Yep. Yeah. And it is so crucial to find a partnership. It sounds like you guys really complemented each other. You have the knowledge, you have the get up and go, you go out there, you get shit done. He's got the detail orientation, he gets the systems in place. So you guys, you meshed well.
Yeah.
And I hear that so often, on this podcast with people that I talk with. Just you need to find someone who fits with you. If you're both the go-getters, if you're both the visionaries, then it just doesn't work out. But if you find that sweet mix, then it works. So it took you about 5 years to get through that, to really stabilize that first park. What was, 5 years is a long time, especially when you're focusing on just one asset. What were, I know you can't distill 5 years down into a sentence, but what is, like, if you look back at that time, what is the lesson that you really learned through all of that when it comes to investing in mobile home parks and turning them over to something that's operating pretty well?
Yeah, the lesson there, sadly, most of the lesson was to not think you're smarter than the people giving you advice. I talked to, if I had taken the advice of the older park owners that I talked to, it would have not been 5 years. I thought I was smarter. But the key to trailer parks, or the easy way, is not owning the homes. It's very tempting to get distracted by, the home rents for $600 a month and the lot rents for, at that time, like $200 a month. Well, $400 is a lot of money. But, if you can get rid of 60% of your money and 95% of your headache, take that trade. Because I was going nuts. I owned it at the peak. I think I owned like 35 or 40 trailers. And I lived in the park. I lived in I cannot explain to anybody how crazy my life was at that time. I was literally under trailers, fixing up trailers, like 14 hours a day. And then people knocking on my door at night to borrow money, to fix their trailer, Lord knows what. So that was a big mistake. So I think keeping some professional distance from your parks. When I had just gotten out of the Army and I was like 22, and I'd walk around the park with, like, no shirt on and a shotgun in my hand. Like, it was a rough park. And I was like, I'm the sheriff in town here, and big mistake. And I'd be drinking beer with the tenants, on my porch. Just a horrible idea. Don't do that. And the kids all knew me. That I'd give them $1 to go pick up trash around the park. I'd give them tractor rides around the park. Let me tell you, when you're evicting somebody and their kids are all like, Mr. Paul, and jumping up in your arms and stuff, and you're trying to evict their parents, it's no fun.
Yeah.
And the weird thing was, though, you'd think that they'd love me more for, like, identifying with them. But I knew guys that would, lived in McMansions and would drive their Beamer through the park or whatever. And they caught less trouble than I did. It's a weird dynamic, but I think people kind of like that professional distance. They like their park owner to be, somebody that they can't identify with. It's just some rich jerk that lives off and whatever. And when it was some guy that they know, and it's just one of them, a lot of them ended up hating me.
Yeah.
And it just complicated everything, evictions and everything. So, looking back, now maybe some of my tenants are watching this. I don't know. But now when I go to a park that I own or that I'm a partner in, I'm the maintenance man. I'm like, I'll pass that up to the owners. You don't want to be the owner.
Yeah.
The owner's some investment group, and they live out of town and they're jerks and they're raising the rent, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a big learning curve. And, I think probably people told me I just had to learn it the hard way. And it was hard.
I'm that way too, though. Sometimes, like, somebody will say something, they'll be like, I get it, but I'm going to do it my way instead. And then I'm like, I should have just done it that way. I should have done what the person with more experience told me to do.
Yeah. I thought I was smart.
Awesome. So, it sounds like your big lesson, you were living in the park. You didn't have that distance. So if you were to do it over again, start that first park over again, you would get professional management in there from the get-go, get that distance from the tenants themselves, and then also sell the park-owned homes to the tenants.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about professional management. Yeah, I guess hire somebody in the park to manage it or something like that. But the other thing is, if I had have just focused on making what I had profitable first, I knew if I filled up all those homes at 20 vacant lots and like 18 boarded up homes. So I fixed up 18 homes and filled 20 lots. Pretty much by myself. I had some help, some guys, that worked for me, obviously. But if I'd have just said, okay, here's what I've got, let's just get this running profitably first. I think it would have been less stressful and probably more profitable.
Yep.
Yeah. And not moved into the park. Or maybe moved in for like a month and never said I was the owner. Just I'm a guy working, for this park. The problem with my approach is it's very different than a lot of investors. A lot of investors never lived in a trailer. They have no clue what a trailer park. I still live in a trailer park, I am, worth a couple $1,000,000. I live in a trailer park. Now it's like a little 6 lot and I own, a corner of it. So it's different. And so it's hard to say, how would I have done things differently? I think being there really helps. I think understanding the dynamics of a park helps. When I look at parks now, one of the things I think of is, would I live here? And I don't plan to live in some trailer park in Ohio or whatever, but I don't want to buy one that I would never live in. I think to some degree, I believe in my product. I have places that I don't feel ashamed of,
Yep. You have, no, I 100% agree. You have to be able to drive by your property and be proud to tell people, hey, I own that. That is something that I can put my name on. If you're not, if it's something, if you're investing in a D, C minus area and you keep it that way, you keep it looking rough, then that's not something that you can really be proud of and get behind.
Yeah.
I've never moved into my parks. I've heard people say that. So you got me there, but I've heard people say that you learn the processes, you learn how everything works much better when you actually live on premise. Obviously, you lived there for quite a long time, so you really know them backwards and forwards. But
yeah, too much. Yeah, a month. I lived there about 2 years, about 20 months or something in that part. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, man, I love your story. I like that it has the ups and downs. We just passed the 20-minute mark, so I got to push us into the quick question round. You ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. Starts with, where did the list go? Books. Always starts with books. I'm a big bookie, so why don't you take us to your 2 favorite books, one for general life wisdom and one for real estate.
That's always tough. I'm a huge bookie. Actually, I'm building. There's an extension on this trailer. That's a 6,500 book library.
Wow.
So I have the swankiest single wide library
I was gonna say
in the country. So I read a lot of books, and you know what? The only thing I don't think I've ever read. I don't think I've ever read a book on real estate investment, which is unfortunate. But the books books that have contributed. I did like that Made in America biography of Sam Walton. It's an easy read, and it just I don't know, gave me a little bit of excitement about investing. And then in terms of sort of big picture ideas, I like all of Nassim Taleb's books.
Yep.
He's popular for Black Swan. I like Skin in the Game. That's a big principle for me, and that kind of ties in with like living in a trailer. understanding risk through having skin in the game. I like that. Yeah.
I have Made in America on my bookshelf. I've never picked it up, but
Yeah.
I've wanted to.
You read it in
Sam
an
Walton.
afternoon. It's really
What was that?
You could read it in an afternoon. It's a quick read.
I'm gonna have to do it because I've heard his story is pretty amazing.
It's good. I mean, I love, what you're doing here. I mean, I recently heard, podcast interviewed Sam Zell, and I loved, his story. He's the #1 trailer park owner in the country.
Yep.
I love people's stories. They're always good. I don't know if, whatever, but how it's received anymore. But Art of the Deal. It's a great book. It gets into deals. And honestly, for all the crap Trump's taken, and love him or hate him, I don't vote, so whatever, it doesn't matter. And that book, whatever, the #1 thing in this business of doing deals is simply the joy of it. The beauty of watching a deal like go in its arc and come to an end. And like, I live in a single wide trailer. Making the money, it means nothing to me. I do deals because they're fun, and books that capture that, and Art of the Deal really captures that. Just the excitement of making a deal, and that, I don't know, I feel like America is kind of built on that. Anyway, we're running out of time. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's all good. I've heard good things about Trump's book. I've never read it, but I've heard you're not the first person to say read the Art of the Deal.
You gotta read Art of the Deal. Made American Art of the Deal. Those are classics, yeah. And Taleb's book, at least Black Swan, although I like Skin in the Game, Anti-Fragility.
All right, noted down. Moving on though, so we are on to, let's see, there we go. So younger self. So if you can go back to the Paul who was just getting out of the army, he had 40,000 to his name, didn't know what he was going to do. Go back to that Paul, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
That's hard. One piece of investment advice. Keep good books, man. Keep good books.
You're talking about your actual books, right?
Like bookkeeping.
Yep, bookkeeping. Yep.
I basically had no books for the first 7 years.
That's good. You're the first person to say that, but that is so important, especially when you're going to the sale. I've talked with owners, looking to buy their parks. They have 0 books, and it makes it impossible to evaluate. So I like that.
It's hard to get to the bank. I mean, I buy parks still, I don't care about people's books. I don't really look at their books. I know what I'm going to do with their park, but it's hard to get the financing because the bank wants to see their books.
Yep, for sure.
But just knowing, I mean, it's simple, and I'm sure a lot of people out there keep good books, but, and I guess, the thing is, you find yourself somewhere in the middle of it, and suddenly it's just this giant mess. And where do you start? And I think the answer is you can start somewhere and get some help and tidy things up and just start where you are and get it tidy. Yep.
And that is why I think getting a good bookkeeper is so crucial if that's not your strong suit. It's not my strong suit. I'm shit at that. And getting somebody in your corner with that skill set.
Yeah.
Super important. All right, moving on to the next question. Yeah. This one is opportunity for you to brag. So everybody has strengths. They all have Superman skills. What is the thing that you are exceptional at that you feel you excel at?
I attribute most of this business's success to really just loving people. I just love people. When I meet park owners and I'm talking about buying their park, I love them. I love their park. I love their story. I want them to tell, like these old guys, that, man, let me show you how I rigged this septic system. I want to hear it. And honestly, when you're going to buy a park and he's got like some, California dude that just wants to talk numbers, and he's got a guy that's all stoked about how he rigged his septic system, he's going to sell to that guy, And I've had a lot of people sell to me because they like me. And the reason they like me is because I like them. I just love them. and that backfires with the tenants. That's why I got to keep my professional distances, because I love my tenants. I love all of them. I love the ones that don't pay.
I love your attitude, man. It's great.
Great people.
So loving people, that is definitely a superhuman strength. Got that empathy, got the love. That is can't be said for everybody in this business. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it's hard sometimes. The hardest is loving bankers.
Yeah.
I don't know where they find these guys.
Yeah, they don't have a sense of humor.
I'm sorry, but just man, special people.
All right.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Next question. We're going on to habits. Habits are the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one habit that you feel has contributed the most to your overall health, well-being, success, what would that be?
One habit that's contributed to my overall health and success. Well, there's always the things you want to say, because it'll make you look good,
I meditate every morning for 30 minutes.
But I would say the habit that's really the habit has probably just been, well, two things. One's a real practical thing, and that is keeping a little black book.
Okay.
I got a lot of people that work for me, or I'm trying to help. They got their phone, or they got the whatever. Man, keep that little black book. And when you're bored, and I attribute it, there's this weird section in, anyway, there's a section in scripture where this guy's, the king Xerxes can't go to sleep. And so he just starts reading back through the records, and he discovers this guy that he owed one. And it's Jewish festival Purim is basically based on that story. But I think of that all the time when I can't sleep or when I'm bored. I've got a little stack of all these little black books from the beginning of and I just flip through them, and I found more deals. There was one guy, I've been at his park, he didn't want to sell. 2 years later, I'm just flipping through my little black book, and I'll give him a call again, call him up. I just decided this morning to sell that park, whatever. So write things down, everything, the color of paint you put on this one rental house, the banker's name, whatever. Just keep those little black books and go back through them. And it's been a real treasure trove.
Nice. I love it. And when you say black books, you mean kind of like a journal, right? Something where you just jot down what happened, who you talked to.
Yeah, but business stuff, not so much a journal.
Yep.
I use it for, I need to, follow up the banker on this. Well, I need to buy, this is a sign guy for fixing that sign, whatever, a fence guy. It's all, business related stuff.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. On to the second to last question. This one is location. So US is a huge place. There are, I don't know how many thousands of square miles in the US, which means there's a lot of places to invest. What area are you most excited about purchasing your next park?
Oh man, you're gonna make me give away my secrets, huh? I think the trends. I look at states. I think a lot of park owners look at states. I think we're a little nervous of some trends, whether they be rent controls or something like that. So there's states I love that are beautiful that I'd never buy in. I'd never buy in New York. I'd never buy in California. I'd never buy in Oregon. I'd never buy in Washington. I've almost bought in Washington. But some people will, but I don't want to buy where I'm going to be, any threat of rent control or anything. As far as mega trends where people are moving, I think Montana, Wyoming, the West is booming right now. And I think not just that, but I think if, any state, there's kind of overlooked nice areas in that state, like the Piedmont of North Carolina or whatever. Southeast Ohio's rolling. It's nice, And I think as people start, working from home or whatever, decentralizing, people think, there's probably parks in, parts of Southeast Ohio that probably still have $200 a month lot rents or whatever, So yeah, overlooked nicer areas to live.
Nice. I like it. Montana and Wyoming. That's That's one I haven't heard yet. I mean, they're beautiful countries, so you couldn't go wrong there for at least for aesthetics for sure.
Yeah, and freedom oriented, so you're not going to have, as much problem with rent control. Actually, anyway, Montana just looked at rent controls for parks,
Oh
but
wow,
it got
I did not
tabled.
know that. That's good to know.
Yeah, a Republican proposed it. It's going to be a weird time for parks. Just some parks. There's the parks are getting gobbled up by huge players, and rents are just getting pushed to the limits. And there's some backlash, and I'm not sure where that's going to end, but I'm a little nervous of where that's going.
Yep. Yeah, we've seen for the parks that we've been offering on, we've seen rents continually go up to the point where it's kind of surprising. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. We actually in New York. It's funny that you said you don't like that state because I've yet to find. We just did a wholesale surprisingly in New York that actually worked.
Good.
But outside of that one, nobody likes New York. It's because of their damn taxes.
I just called a guy on a park in New York. I'm a liar.
It's
in Western New York where I've got some friends, and it popped up on LoopNet, and I was like,
let's try it. It's all right. You get one. Yeah. All right. This brings us to the last question, and this is for the listeners. You've given us a lot of good advice on mobile home parks, on getting dirty, getting in there, getting up after you get pushed down. So I'm sure people want to reach out, say hi, express their gratitude for your story. What's the best way for them to reach out and say hi?
Best way to reach out and say hi. They can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I think I got my, and then a little plug so now that, I pretty much retired, I still look at parks, but I don't know. I keep promising myself every year, no new deals. I don't need any more money. So I've been kind of doing a little bit what you're doing, but not so much on the investment level. I've been driving around and interviewing people, and it's been a really weird, polarized couple of years, and so I've been trying to kind of figure out some kind of a third way between all that. And so if they want to check out my little interviews, it's To Blathe from the great cinema classic Princess Bride.
I was wondering where that came from.
ToBlathe.com, and it's on YouTube, To Blathe, and it's just fun. I interview interesting people, and sometimes we do talk about investing. Obviously, a lot of my friends are investors, but other things too.
I saw one with your goat, which is I love goats. Awesome. So that is ToBlathe, TOBLATHE.com. I will put that in the show notes. So if you guys want to get in contact with Paul, just click the little more in the description. It'll pop down that full description. In there, you'll find the link. Click through, say hi.
Go to YouTube and subscribe. And then, if you get a hold of me through Instagram or Twitter or whatever, I love helping people. And I love, the one thing about trailer park owners is they all like to talk to people. I'll be calling somebody about their park and have a 2-hour conversation about their pets or their investment in classic cars or whatever.
Exactly. So I will put that in the show notes. If you guys want to reach out to Paul, you can go down there, click the more, and click through to say hi. So that wraps it up, Paul. We hit 37 minutes, as I said, 20-minute mark. We rocked that one out. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Best of luck, man. There's a lot of parks out there. I hope you make a lot of money buying them and have fun. And I hope all your viewers can make fun deals and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And for everybody who's with us, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason that we do this, so we appreciate having you here. If you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep rocking real estate, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the investor's quick analysis calculator and offer tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the investor's daily success tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the wholesaler's template for quick assignment cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day and even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.